Yo, yo, yo. Okay, so we are now live. Right. So, purpose of today's live is education, adult education, learning new stuff. And while I wait for people to come in to the chat, what I'm talking about is I've been using AI to create some ideas from here onto computer because artificial intelligence has jumped leaps and bounds, and lots of people are a little bit weary, scared of it's going to nick our jobs. Well, not actually. It's going to create new opportunities, including there's likes of building the app, and I've got Microsoft Edge open in the background because we've been speaking about licenses for game development, i.e. Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 or above, PC, and what was it? Mobile as well through the App Store and the other alternative, which is Apple. So that is on the bottom of the bar at the moment. Now, most of you know here that there are 3 games and 3 apps. And during the conversation I had with Copilot just before, what I'm thinking of doing is switching from bolt.new over to lovable.dev 2, and it is it's already connected to Supabase, which is based in Singapore, i.e. the other part of the world. So we've been looking at brainstorming sessions, and Copilot is actually in GitHub. There are other ones. I tried using Bolt with seekingyou.org, and it's kind of smashed into a brick wall. Not happy about that. So what we got here, let's see. I had to take these off so I can read chat because the computer screen is, well, it's about that far away from my face. So how many jobs have you applied for this week? That many. Because I'm trying to create new work, not just for me, but for other people as well. And as Department of Works and Pensions ain't going to help, well, I'm on my own. So, right. No, Mark. No. End of. So, the first two people who are in chat, the first one, where he's on about jobs, etc. By building these brand new apps, here's the point. It's to create new work for the people who will be interested in doing what's in the remit on the apps. And that means a wage, pension, benefits. Yeah. So there we go. Have you got a developer license? Well, we've just been speaking about developer licenses on Microsoft Edge, which has Copilot bolted to it. So they have been talking about how to apply for licenses on Xbox, license on PlayStation 5, on PC, and Apple as well as Android. So the license bit is being looked at. Okay. Right. If you don't do realize without them, yes, somebody mentioned in the comments yesterday. Now, at this present moment in time, there are things on GitHub which everybody can see. And at this moment in time, where the games are concerned, there is a page open at the bottom, on the bottom toolbar for Copilot, and that is connected to where to go for each license that is going to be required. So there's your answer. Will Streets of Home have a physical release in the shops? Well, that was part of the discussion. The digital version and a physical copy. So that is all over on Microsoft Edge in the Copilot sidebar. So it is being looked at. And Copilot has said it is willing to assist in getting the ball rolling towards said licenses. So there's your answer. Can I join you on a live? Well, not this one, but you can. It depends on how many subscribers you have, because you have only just came on to create on YouTube. And let me know in chat how many subscribers you've got, and we'll go from there. Lee Bennett, do your neighbours know your intentions to cover the field behind their house in solar panels and wind turbines? Everybody from where I am, the next village, and other villages already know. And yeah, the people are happy, because at the end of the day, one, it creates work locally for local people. And whereas Newcastle, I don't know because I am not in Newcastle. Have you applied for the Everton game? Family have put in for that. Yes. What are your top 3 video games of all time? Wow. Now that's a hard one. One of the best games I've played was on the television in the bedroom, and that was Batman. I think it was Arkham City, and it was in 3D. But you had to put the glasses on and press the button. Apart from that, wow. Early versions of Grand Theft Auto, brilliant. Not the one where you're looking down on the city, because I didn't like that one at all. But the other ones, yeah. But I'll tell you one thing, as there's 10 people here now. I never, ever thought of building a game. Nope. But we all know now that has changed. Right, Football Uncensored. Paul, you will ignore this, but you said you have been... Right, let me tell you something. Okay. Who was it? MK and Ewan said yesterday. My very first game at St James's Park was the old style stadium, where you had on one side lots of wood, Milburn side, and the Leazes, well, the Leazes was like terraces, and you had the metal railings where you could lean on. A lot has changed at St James's Park since then. And my very first time at St James's Park, I was in the Leazes, and I was looking at the Gallowgate with a huge, gigantic scoreboard. And there was a lot of noise coming from the Gallowgate, and I went, I'm kind of in the wrong part of St James's Park. So I made it a mission to try very hard to get tickets, the ticket from me for the Gallowgate, and climbing the steps to the wall, going through underneath the scoreboard, and it was bloody epic. Also in that time, the troubles of football happened, and way back then, straight across from St James's Park was a pub, if you remember all that way back, and that pub was torn down because there's a bit of argy-bargy going on right there. Now, for 34 years you have needed a supporter number, and yours is less than 3 years old. Okay. So you are trying to say to me, Football Uncensored, you are trying to say in chat that when I first went to St James's Park and now I've only been doing it 3 years. Cods wallop. There you go. Because I have been to places like Upton Park. Who used to play at Upton Park? Who used to play at, well, they still play at Stamford Bridge. And that was a long, long time ago. Now, Nobby in our house, which is better, Heinz or? It's got to be Heinz. I've never tried the other, so it's got to be Heinz. Now, the purpose of doing this is quite simple. Before 2025, I was Newcastle United. Music. Now I've expanded. And here's the thing. I said to you all about ideas. I've gone past the stage of writing stuff down on an A4 pad. Okay? One second. I'm going to show you something. Now, that's an A4 pad. Right? There. That's an A4 pad. Notes. That came from Morrison's Gamster. Yeah? Now, they are roughly $2.99, or they may have gone up just a smidge. But 200 pages to write ideas down. Now, it's different. Now, I can say to AI, what do you think of this? And in the beginning, when I did the first with Copilot first, then was Claude. Here's what happened. Nothing. There was nothing, as in lines and lines of that dreaded thing called code. But now this, that, don't have to do that no more. Now I can jump onto the likes of, well, I have done with Bolt and others, and what happens is it starts to go and write code. So things have improved. Now, what we're seeing. Yeah, okay. You've got your supporter number after the takeover. No. Do you know what? I'll tell you one thing, right? I've been into St James's Park so many times. Been in the Leazes End, Leazes Terrace, been in the noisy part of the Gallowgate, which is East Corner. I've been in the West Corner. I've been right behind the goal. Been in the plush seats of the Milburn, next to Lees's. I've been underneath the away fans, and I've been in all of these different places more times than I've got hair up there. Now, people like Ewan, MK, and others, yeah, turn around and say, oh, this, that, and the other. When I drove a bus, we had a thing at work where if you went to a union meeting, you put your name down on a bit of paper, and that was put into a hat. And after the meeting, they would draw out so many of what was inside the hat. And if you were lucky, you got a ticket. The ticket was for 2 people. And you were sitting in the Leases underneath the away fans. So during Ashley or you era, you went twice. No, I went more than that. But like I said, that was some good times. The best times was when Kevin Keegan came back and built the Entertainers. That were epic times. So, now, good thing is this. And this is the reason why I said to Department of Works and Pensions earlier in the week. 6 apps. Each one costing money. And 2 of those, Geordie Nation, have bought the domain, and it's a process where the money just keeps climbing because having to pay for hosting of it and domain, they cost. Right, what we got here? Who was that man looking around the door dressed in all black? Couldn't tell you. I'm here. And one thing I will say to you all is this, yeah? Somebody said this the other day during a live. They made a comment, and one thing is being honest with you, yeah? In what I show you in CGI, it's just me showing you what's on the computer, where it is, so you can have a look at yourself. And the point I'm making is this. From going back 2 years, there was Newcastle United, where I'm speaking about the club. where I'm speaking about a match, a prediction, where after the game I'm coming on to say, yeah, wasn't a good game, or this didn't happen, or that didn't happen. Yeah. But there was music and there was other things. So from just talking about Newcastle United, I 1, 2, 3, and more have came in to doing a live. Whether you like it or not, this is the way forward. Now, one thing, the other day, Lee Lawler did a video where he has done exactly the same thing Adam Pearson did, which was full time here on YouTube. Brave thing to do, but excellent, because Newcastle Fans TV and Adam Pearson, well, they're riding high in the YouTube ratings because of their content to do with Newcastle United. I've just expanded what I do. Right, what we got? The difference between you and other YouTubers is they go to games. I go to games when I can afford to go to games. That's it. If I can afford to do it, I'm there. Because people like their content, that's how it works. Okay. So you are trying to say focus and only do this, i.e., sitting in a Newcastle United shirt, even though it's an old one, and just talk about Newcastle United. Well, no. I'm not going to do that. Right. Your content is bland. Why are you here? Huh? Why are you here? If my content is bland, why are you here? Simple. John, have you seen your new game? Here's the thing, right? Streets of Home started off live as a song. And that's what the original thing was, a song. It was writing the lyrics, picking up Black Beauty and playing it. So you could listen and you could go, or you could go, choice was yours. Either way, whether you did that or its opposite, it was still there. And because everything is on YouTube, it would be there forever. So from a song I wrote, a game popped up. And the reason why the game popped up, I was thinking, writing the idea down, and thought, hold on, try the computer, try AI. And AI took the idea which I had give it the prompt, and just ran. Is that a bad thing? Right, Stevie G. The Sega Game Gear. Doubt it. Will Streets of Rome have... No. Think about it this way, right? You've just asked a question about zombies and all the rest of it, yeah? Could you imagine waking up? It's Sunday, yeah? Could you imagine waking up on a Sunday morning after a Saturday night down at the big market or somewhere else in the city centre, and you wake up and there suddenly is thousands and thousands and thousands of zombies? No. That sort of thing is for the United States of America, not Newcastle upon Tyne. Right. Get the name right. Spot on. Look at it this way, right? The game itself is simple. You, a buggy, and gravity. The special bit with the game, Streets of Rome, is this. Depending on how far you get, you can, if you so wish, add the ultimate upgrade. You can. And you can take that ultimate upgrade to a new location. I have asked on TikTok and other places if there are parts of places where other people live, friends, if there are places where it would be a challenge getting from A down to B. And a few people have turned around and said, yeah, there's lots of places near them. So that was one of the things I said originally to Bolt.new. I wanted it set in Newcastle upon Tyne, but it went up, down, and across the country. Why? We all live in the United Kingdom. I'm assuming we all live in the United Kingdom. Paul, simple question. Why are there no... A lot of things happened. A lot of things. And when a lot of things happened, they weren't all good stuff. So there you go. Right. Oh, were you too busy watching? Guess what? Can't be bothered. What happened a long time ago happened. It's over with. It's done. I moved on, and that's it. Now, what I was saying earlier was this. I said this to Copilot. I mentioned seekingyou.org. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is, rather than spend hours and hours and hours looking at something I can't fix, I'm going to switch it over. And then it'll work. You see, because when I originally started with that, Seeking You, Bolt, for whatever reason, wrote it as dating. It was nowhere near. And because it was nowhere near, I told it straight away, change that. So I'm going for a different approach. And here's the thing. What I wanted to do will be done. Make no bones about it. It will be done. Because what I came across yesterday is ready. Can't do anything until the end of the month, which is another bank holiday. I can't do anything because the money isn't there. You can't spend what you haven't got at the end of the day. So there you go. Right. Fireburn 95. No. I was born, raised, and lived and worked Newcastle upon Tyne, which is how many thousand miles from where you're talking about? How many thousand miles is it? It's like, you turn around and saying, do I support something in India or somewhere else? It's thousands and thousands of miles away, man. You know what it is. I'm not even going to mention this person, because stupidity. But here on my YouTube channel, eventually there's going to be content for Geordie Nation. And there will be part of Geordie Nation, Streets of Home. There will be little bits of BBC and the motorbike game. So that's all connected together because where it's based, where it starts, it doesn't end in Newcastle. It goes around the whole of the United Kingdom. So it's going to far-flung places. The birds are gone. Just me. Birds are all gone. I was thinking about getting another couple of birds, but I'd prefer a dog instead. Well, do you know what it is? There's a person in chat who is just being a right silly person. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else, because there's a lot of people who, like, in the comments when I do a video, who will turn around and say, daft things. And as I've said to you for quite some time, if you met me in the street, you wouldn't, like, come across that way. Nobody would. So, because nobody would, why do it on YouTube? It just doesn't make sense. See, with, like, I'm gonna explain something to you all. Okay, this could take a few minutes. Geordie Nation is a YouTube channel that has no content yet. Now, some time ago, YouTube said we're going to introduce something called a handle. The first one, which is the one you're on, that is Paul Gallant 3675. And Geordie Nation is just Geordie Nation. Now, content will start to appear there, but it'll be here first. So I'm dividing it. And that will have to grow from 0 to 1,000 plus. And then there are 2 forms of income. It's not a massive amount. No, it's not. But it's a start. Simple question. Do you know, I'm not even going to answer you, because at the end of the day, I know I've been to watch Newcastle home and away. So, I've removed your comment from chat quite a few times in this live. So no, you are not going to get an answer. End of. Now, the purpose of doing this live. When I was talking to Copilot earlier, Copilot was on about doing a deep dive where the apps and AI are concerned. So, you know about what's on GitHub, and you know the amount of code knowledge I have. But with doing artificial intelligence, I tell it, it does it. Now, here's the thing. 44 minutes and 7 seconds. And guess what? Not one. Yous are lacking. There's 9 people here. Most people will be waiting for the bigger YouTube channels to show the game. I'm going to struggle to do the game. Do you know why? Because I haven't got Sky Sports. and I'm going to struggle. Can you share some screenshots of what you have created so far on your apps? It's already on YouTube, so I don't have to. That's the honest answer. You see, before I show you, I have done work in the background. That work could consist of hours where I'm telling in a prompt AI and it's doing its thing in the background. But I still show you. So there's your answer. Yeah, okay. Now, as we go through 2025, Seeking You, Geordie Nation, go live. If you remember, cast your mind back to other lives, which was approaching the beginning of April. And what I asked. Now, I asked because the knowledge base of code. Code isn't just HTML5. No, it's not. It's HTML5 and other bits and pieces bolted to it. And I didn't get that far. Paul, you should do a launch party. Well, I don't know. One thing I can say is somebody was mentioning this a while ago about the NFTs of what was on OpenSea. And what I thought about was changing it. So that's why I have pictures of First Team Squad to change it into something completely different. But oh, that's gone cold. It didn't work. Maybe I can do it again, but we shall see. What I'm thinking is do the new ones for the 1st of August and not just put them onto OpenSea, spread them about. I've actually spoken to both Ant and Dec. Good, they're good lads. And yeah, many, many years ago at a place called the Mitre. Where's the Mitre? My vision for a show, okay, to do with St James's Park and a family of magpie birds. I'll see what can be done with that. I'll see if it's possible to get that before August 1st. If it's possible, it'll happen. I don't know. That's the honest answer. Nothing can be done with that. Well, one thing I'm going to say is this. There's going to be content for Newcastle United with 4 games. There's going to be more singing and new music, songs, and more of a deep dive with apps and the stuff that is on waves.exchange. That's all to come. Have I got permission from who? Who do I have to ask permission from? Nope, anybody there. See, the thing is this. I am taking ideas here. Instead of writing it down, I'm telling AI. That's an advancement. Then AI does the hard stuff. It integrates the plan and it comes up with code. How come this video still has... Yeah, that's a very good question. Spot on. Yeah, very good question. And do you want to know something, right? People want me to fail. They want it 1,000,000,000%. But guess what? Go back 2 seasons ago. Yeah? When Newcastle United were fighting hard, they were battling. We had the best blooming defence. Where did we end up? And here's the thing. During that time, I had said, before August had even came round, that's where we would finish. And everyone went, ha, 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 rolling across the floor like a damn hyena. Yeah? Where did we finish? Champions League. And during all that time, 2 seasons ago, yeah, as you just mentioned, how many likes? Do you know why? Do you know why they didn't get all the likes? Because you are here to watch me fall. That's it. But you see, the thing is, I'm not just writing stuff down in a pad no more. Things have moved forward. New games are going to appear. Yes, I'm going to have to apply for license A, license B, license C, etc. Yes. But you don't believe that anyway. You will be, at some point, you may walk into Game, CEX, or some other place and go, wow. And you'll pick the game up off the shelf. He did it. Because like I said earlier in this live, on the bottom toolbar is Microsoft Edge, where, because somebody had mentioned these licenses, Copilot is going to help do that process. And I don't have the skill, but I have the will. Same as when I was singing songs about writing a new history for our club. Yeah? Who lifted the Carabao Cup? Who did that? Right. Has been a. Do you know? Hey, you know what it is. 34 years you have needed as. You know what it is, huh? Here's the thing, right? Like I said to somebody yesterday in the comments on a video, I have met Kevin Keegan, Philip Albert, Pavel, God rest his soul, Peter Beardsley, Paul Gascoigne, and many others. And how I've done that was went to places with little ones because they wanted to see the players. And where Kevin Keegan, that was with Kevin Keegan, the game QPR, where his first game, and a lot of time has passed between then and right now. So Football Uncensored, or whatever you want to like put yourself out as, putting it across to people in a chat on a YouTube channel saying that I've only done this, I've only done that, I've only, cods wallop. So sit down and enjoy the live, because the purpose of the live is education. And you're never too old to learn something new. I've just turned 58. And before 2025, I didn't even know about Copilot. I didn't know anything about Claude. I didn't know anything about Bolt. Nothing. I was writing stuff down on a pad. So climb off your high horse. You don't look a day past. Hey, I could be 1,000 years old. I'm not, but you keep adding. If it makes you happy. Because I know what I know. So you keep, you can turn around and say whatever the hell you like at the end of the day. Don't care. This is my life. This is my channel. Right. Well, here's the thing, as Jeremy is saying, finish the course. Yeah, the course is bought and paid for. And if people hadn't said, Jeremy, about AI, I would have never have gone down that road. You see, a lot of people turned around on several occasions and turned around and says, "Oh, you don't listen to a damn thing we say." Excuse me. See, there's a very, very old saying. It's older than me. It's older than every single person in chat right this second. And there's 14 people there, and there are still not one single like. Considering I've been talking for 1 hour and 1 minute and 7 seconds. Sort the wheat from the chaff. Okay? What I've tried was I have wrote from a book, and it's a thick book to do with code. I have got a little one, which is like little puzzles and stuff like that. That is all on camera. Now, HTML5 was where I stopped. I was almost next to the final exam for HTML5 when the next one was CSS. Now, couldn't tell you what CSS is, but it was the next one along. But people were saying AI will whiz straight past you. So that's the reason why, and there wasn't just one person, there were quite a few people who said AI is going to do that. So that's why I switched tactic. Now, I've already done that. All you want is free handouts and use AI for everything. Beg us to help you. No. You can either help a person asking or you don't. Simple and straightforward. You see, me, born bred Geordie, somebody asks me for help and I can, they get it. I don't ever turn around and say, if somebody asks me for help, right, that's one you or me. No, I wasn't brought up that way. You see, if a person asks, consider what you've got to consider is this, and this is the benchmark. I was doing web development 3.0. I had got from the very basic hello world to Homer Simpson, as somebody mentioned just before there, and that Homer Simpson was to make Homer appear like here on the screen, then here on the screen. Then I had to expand Homer and shrink Homer. Now, in a video, I showed you that. I even showed you because Rob, the instructor, had said, if you use an image too often, it will just come up with a little box in the corner. And he was correct. So I switched from Homer to Marge to carry on doing that process. In that process, you can go back and you can check all of the videos. And another part connected to that, people were turning around and saying that, like, oh, that's just simple and basic stuff. Like my 9-year-old, my 13-year-old can do that, and that's awesome. But back then, I was 57 years old. So a lot has changed. And my nana always used to say to me, evolve and push, because you never know unless you try. So yes, that's what I did. And I was looking at doing that final exam for HTML5 and then going into the next element, CSS, and then doing the same thing. But when I was told AI will whiz past you and do it faster, cleaner, because when you're writing code as a noob, I think that's a term, NOOB, it looks terrible. It does. Because there are certain things that are called keyboard shorts, and some of those are Control, Shift, and one of the letters. And years ago, my brother was saying to me to Control, Alt, and Delete, and it does something. And it was an information overload upstairs. Hey, I got my first one of them. After 1 hour, wow, that's staggering. You know, the thing is, right? What I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to achieve will happen. Yes. How I get there? Well, you now know about the use of artificial intelligence, which is learning. I don't. Keen, I think that's how you spell it, pronounce it. You're in the wrong place. You know, what you got to look at is this. Yeah. You're saying, I don't like your tone. What tone? What tone? How many times have I shouted and screamed at the camera? Do you know why? YouTube has rules. YouTube has rules where, and a lot of YouTubers will tell you this, if you use bad language, demonetized. If you shout and scream, etc. So I've been on YouTube a long time, and I know the score. Well, I agree, you don't become a programmer overnight. Yeah, I agree with that one. The problem in the beginning with the code and coding was, let's say a paragraph, just let's center on a paragraph. Now, you're typing away what you would like in that paragraph, yeah? And in code, part of that paragraph, something changes color. Why? Why does it change color? Now, years and years ago when I was up in Newcastle, never ever dreamed of code. Even though I went to the college, Newcastle College on Rye Hill, went underground to their computer suite to do CLATE. Now, CLATE's basic. It's, oh, I've got my second one. Hey, you know what it is, eh? Wow, must be a Sunday. But years and years ago, when I went to Rye Hill to do CLATE, above me were the old style fluorescent lighting. And back then, we had the floppy disks you'd stick into the drive. Never once did I do that. Even though every single time I walked into that underground classroom, I had a box that I got from a shop on Clayton Street before you get to Woolworths. And that had floppy disks inside of it. I think it was 20 in that box, but I never got to use them because when I was in that college environment, kept getting migraines because of the flickering in the light above my head. And I told the person who was doing the course that I'm going to have to leave because my head is absolutely splitting. Oh, but I've got 4. What happened there? I've got 4 legs. Oh, my Lord. How do you create a div? Okay, you tell me. No clue. I can type that on a screen, just no clue what it is. You see, that's the point, with like understanding. I mean, there's a part of the keyboard it's just below enter on the keyboard. You've got shift, question mark, forward, slash. Next 2 buttons is like that. Couldn't tell you what they are, but I know in code you use them quite a lot. I do know the one next to @ that way is colon. I do know that. Well, here's the thing, right, Scott? I do lots of video content. Wow, wait, just jumped to 6. Corbin Bennett, man. It must be a Sunday. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Now, Scott was saying, why don't you put an ad in the local paper to see if anyone can help you? What I've done is I create reels, 90-second reels on Facebook. I have done live on Instagram, same as I'm live now. Yeah. And I have asked more times than I have fingers and toes. That's the honest answer. I've asked for a person to assist with what I was doing with Bolt.new and other bits, including the most important one of all, Solidity. And guess how far I got? Why do you keep picking what? Where is your walking stick? Have you considered customizing? No, I haven't. However, that is a very good idea. Now, the cane, well, it's not a cane. It's metal. It's got one of them buttons you press to extend or shrink. And one second. Oh, yeah. Man, ow. Been sitting too long. Oh, yeah, man. Right. If you're wondering what the issue is, it's right there. Now, the button there. The person who brought me this from, believe it was British Red Cross, and a van pulled up. Guy knocked at the door, and all he did was, there you go. He was gone. And I was like, okay, thank you for bringing it. However, when I went to the doctor's surgery, they turned around and said, we're going to send somebody out. They did. A young lass came out called Rose, and they measure it to your wrist. So, yeah, what I might do is do design for handle, might. And at the moment, okay, you're not going to rest there. At the moment, I've had to put some Gorilla Tape on it so that when I'm using it for getting to next village, it doesn't make that clunk noise. So now it's got Gorilla Tape on the inside and it doesn't make any noise at all. Where are we? Where are we? There's a match starting soon that could top 5. Cool. I'm well aware. I am well aware. Now, here's the thing. My broadband, being out in the countryside, is just as good as dial-up was. So I might be able to watch. Might. However, I might get what I normally get, which is that. And it batters your head because it goes freeze frame as it does that, and you miss action. However, I said today's game, I wanted Newcastle United to beat Brighton 4-0. Whether that happens, that depends on our players. It's not about Eddie Howe, it's the players who are out on the pitch. Anyway, right. I'm shouting again. Yeah. So, 14 of you here, and I have likes. So, thank you all for being here, and the new people. Thank you very much. There will be more education videos coming, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, wherever you are. Thanks for being here. Mm-hmm.